Hello, everyone, and good morning. Because for me, at the time of this recording, it is currently 12:48 a.m. I know, that's a little nuts. I really should go to bed. But I just couldn't. I got ready for bed, and hopefully I do not do this entire recording in one take, and I do, in fact, fall asleep. But, my legs are killing me. Sometimes, I know, I make it look so easy and breezy and beautiful to be disabled, but sometimes it sucks being disabled. Can I just say? Newsflash, in case you didn't know. I know, we all in the disabled community make it look so glamorous, especially when you're someone like me that has a invisible disability. But no, it freaking sucks because what ends up happening is when you're menstruating, I can never say that word correctly, which is embarrassing considering my field, but menstruating, whatever. When you are actively bleeding, and the cramps and everything like that, it affects my legs more than anything else. Like, it hurts my back, it hurts in all the normal ways that it hurts other women, and I'm lucky I do not have terrible periods. They're very regular, they're on schedule most of the time, they're not super long lasting. I switched to my Diva Cup years ago, as we know, because I have preached about how amazing Diva Cups are. I shared my whole conversion story on that, but there is just one thing that I cannot overcome, and it is the nerve damage in my legs. And the way that is activated by the cramps in my back, it is so terrible. It's awful. It sucks so badly. Truly, it's the worst. I mean, there's definitely worse things, but it sucks because I have days like today where I did everything in my power to make sure that my legs were moving. Like, I completely taped this wrapping paper box to the treadmill that my parents have downstairs because, oh yeah, I'm back in the US and I moved in with my parents. We'll talk about that. But anyways, sticking on the story for a second here. So I was walking today to try and help to ease the spasms in my back, which I knew the more my back spasms during the day, the worse it's going to be at night. It's going to really, really, really irritate my legs, and it's going to make them feel like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like cramping, but when you're sitting on a plane for 10 straight hours, and imagine, if you will, that the person in front of you, their seat is leaned all the way back and you're completely crammed, and for whatever reason your seat's broken so you can't bend yours, and you're in a middle seat, and then the people next to you in both the window and the aisle seat are man spread, so you're kind of cramped and you literally cannot move your legs. They are flush up against the back of the chair in front of you, and they're at this 90-degree angle, and they're just cramped. Imagine that for 10 hours, okay? Unable to move your legs, and how the backs of your knees would be all crampy, and your calves, and just the blood flow, and just every part of your body is consumed with the discomfort, and you just want to stretch your legs. And then when you do, it's not enough. You need more pressure, and it feels like restless leg syndrome. That, I think, is the best way that I could describe what this sensation feels like for me. When I'm on my period specifically, my leg cramps, and the way that it feels is just unbearable. It hurts in a way that is hard to describe because it's not pins or needles, it's not a burning sensation, it's not even a cramp itself, in my leg. It's not like a Charlie horse, but it's that restless leg, almost I need pressure applied to my leg, because for whatever reason, how the cramps work with where my spinal surgery was and where my tumor was, I don't know, but it makes it so the 10% feeling that I do still have in my legs, it's like it takes it down to like 3%. And the loss of that feeling is so, I don't know how to describe it. It sucks. It feels, I just want to like squeeze my legs and feel them, because I've gotten used to the 10% that I have, but any bit of that that's taken away, it's so uncomfortable. And, it could always be worse, but sometimes it's okay to say it's bad. And right now, it's really bad. So I sprayed it with my magnesium, like, I don't know, 3 minutes ago. And I was like, it's going to take me another 30 minutes at least to fall asleep with them hurting like this. So I might as well turn on my mic, because I have really left you guys a few weeks without an episode, and I'm very sorry about that. I have a really good excuse, but I am apologetic, and I do feel bad. And I got a very sweet text message today requesting an episode, so Manu, this one's for you.
Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that.
I am back in America, everybody. I am back in my happiest state. I am just very, very, very happy to be home. Let me tell you a little bit about my 38-hour journey. Right, we're not going to focus on the 9-hour delay and be negative. Instead, we're going to focus on the amazing friend that I made, which actually made the whole experience pretty great. So shout out to my new friend, Heather. Hello. I hope you and your family are having the most amazing vacation in the US of A, and I hope everyone is treating you so well and just absolutely loving you. I hope you're loving life. I wish you and your family nothing but the best. I love making a friend when I travel, you guys. You know this. For anyone who does not know, once upon a time, I was on a flight from the Virgin Islands to Utah for my friend's wedding. It was like mid-semester for me, so I was only going to be home for like 4 days. And I got on this flight, and I sat next to the most amazing, incredible woman named Marcia, who I am still friends with on Instagram to this day. Also, shout out to Marcia. She was so incredibly kind, you guys, and I sat next to her and I explained my leg situation. I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry, I have to like put my feet up on this extra seat. And she was incredibly kind and moved for me to a different place on the plane so that I could have the row to myself so I could lay down, which, as all frequent listeners know, that's a very vital thing for me when I'm on a flight for my pain. So it was incredibly nice of her to do that. But then, like, I don't know how long later, I don't remember, it had to have been probably at least like a year and a half, 2 years later, I was going to the Rotary Club, and I had that whole journey for anyone that followed that, where I was going to the Rotary Club to get money for my study abroad in Switzerland, well, my research in Switzerland. And anyways, Marcia emailed me and wrote me a letter of recommendation for the Rotary Club for me to like get money and like a scholarship. This incredible person that I sat next to on a plane one time wrote me a letter of recommendation, and it to this day is one of my most cherished memories and like pieces of paper. It just shows the kindness of people all around the world and the impact that one person can have. I mean, incredible. So I've been very lucky. I've met really nice people when I fly. I've almost never had like a negative. So I'm trying to think. I had my flight to Bali, which I vented about, but that was the person in front of me. I've never sat next to someone that was like an issue. And most of the time the flight attendants are really nice because I give them the flight attendant gifts and that always works out great. And you guys, this time around, I got pajamas from first class and they were amazing. I'm not kidding. I love them. They're Qantas pajamas. And I also got 2 Qantas hats and, two to three. I think I might have gotten 3 the travel bag, kit things that they have in first class. But the pajamas, I've never gotten pajamas before. And that was dope. Now it's my goal to get pajamas every time because just being able to change into those and then sleep on my 16-hour flight, and they were long sleeve too, so comfy. It was just great. And it was fun to get something I've never gotten before because, with the hats, I had already gotten one on my flight before and I didn't want to tell them no. So I actually ended up giving one of my hats to Heather and one of the bags, I think one of the travel bags to Heather as well, because she was my friend that I met on my first flight. And we both had the 9-hour delay, and we met together on the second flight. And anyways, it was just so fun to talk with her, get to know her and her family. And like I said, hope they're doing well. And Heather, no, I am going to take your suggestions. They are logged in my to-do list. Okay, Heather had some great suggestions for things that I should do for my LDS sexologist account and all of that. Which, by the way, I switched my name. I already made the announcement on the LDS Sexologist podcast, but I'm so sad. The Virgin Sex Educator. I had to give up the name. And no, it's not because I got married or anything and my personal status has changed. It was a necessary change that I felt like needed to happen in this county and for what I'm trying to do. I consulted with some people and yeah, I'm still in mourning about it, but I do truly believe it was the right decision. So I already have my new business cards. I've switched over all of my stuff and I can finally be consistent on that account for the first time ever because I literally have nothing else. This is where I put all of my chips. Is that what it's called? You put all your chips in one basket? No. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's what they said. Well, bok, because I sure did. All my eggs. Every last one of them. They are in this basket. They are in the basket of success. And I'm betting everything that this is going to work out to its fullest. And I already have a lot of hope because I secured an interview with Dr. Jennifer Finlayson Fife, my idol. I'm very excited. Well, that's, an understatement, obviously, but it is 1 a.m. So I'll try and keep my excitement to a moderate level. My parents are asleep upstairs because I am moved back in with my parents. Yeah, love my parents, amazing people, love, the house that I grew up in, but you just tend to love it a little less when you've been away for 10 years and had an entire life and seen things and done things, and it's just different coming home. But I have no money, so I had no other choice, and I am privileged enough to have parents that not only take me in, but have a wonderful place for me to live. So I am counting my blessings, and I'm also counting the days until I can get out. Because I don't want to be here at 30 years old, okay? I'm giving myself a year, gulp. I'm giving myself a year to pay off my debt and be really successful, which that's gonna take a lot of effort, but I believe fully that it's possible. I mean, if anyone can do it, I can do it, I'm gonna bet on me every time because I can get stuff done. And already in 1 week, I have gotten so much done. So technically I've been home for 3 weeks now, but my first week that I was back, I had my cousin visiting for what was it, like 3 or 4 days. So I was like hosting her, and then I had a 1.5 day turnaround, and then my friend Manu came for the 4th of July. That was an absolute blast. I did, in fact, cry at Stadium of Fire when, like, the national anthem and stuff was playing, and God Bless America and My Country 'Tis of Thee. Like, are we kidding? I was eating a cougar tail donut in America after people just, like, parachuted down onto the field, and everyone around me was, like, so happy and excited to be there, and it was just beautiful. It was what I have been missing for the past 1.5 years. Oh my gosh. I missed all of it so much, and I've never missed it in the way that I missed it this last time around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost never missed it when I was in Switzerland or China. The US Virgin Islands, that one was a little bit different because, like, technically it's a US territory. It's a little different. But yeah, this time around, woof. I was like, take me home, country roads. I don't know what tune that was, but again, it's 1:11 in the morning. Make a wish. Okay, moving on. Had my journey home, had that full first week, and I had my welcome home party that I threw for myself, obviously. And I had all my friends show up, and they were so great, and I got to give a PowerPoint presentation all about my studies and my classes and what I learned, and it was awesome and great, and I'll probably share it on a podcast. I don't know, is that something you guys would want? Let me know. You tell me. DM me. Speaking of DMing, guess what? I've been getting some DMs. I've been getting a lot of DMs actually, because I started posting on my the LDS Sexologist account, previously the Virgin Sex Educator, and part one of my many-parted plan is I need my Instagram to, like, blow up, okay? I need it to draw people in so that way they will have my services, whether it be my free stuff that I do with, like, speaking to wards, or if they're paying clients, all that stuff. So I was like, I need this to be entertaining, and I need to do this consistently, because I've tried here and there, but I've always been working so many jobs or in grad school, or I haven't been able to devote 100% of my time to this until now, which is why I'm documenting it, and I'm really just gonna throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. So I put out a reel about how I taught the chair dancing class to my Relief Society group back in Australia. And I think I discussed this maybe last episode or a couple episodes ago, about doing that activity, like that we were going to do it. Well, let me tell you how it went. It went so well. I could not believe the amount of women that showed up. There was 21 women that showed up, and I think there was only, like 4 or 5 women that were under the age of 50, maybe even under the age of 60. Everyone else, 60 and up, and there were some 80-year-olds. Oh, there was this really sweet lady, and she just had hip surgery a month ago, and there was this one move that we were doing. We were putting our leg up on the chair, and I had an alternate choreography, you know, like to keep your leg down for anyone whose hips or knees or whatever didn't allow them to do that. And apparently she was like putting her leg up, and all the other women were like, no, put your leg down, you just had hip surgery. Oh, it was so great. They had a blast. We did it to Shania Twain, I Feel Like a Woman. Or no, it's Man, I Feel Like a Woman. And we felt like women. And I had my friend Ivana, who filmed some B-roll for me. I was like, please, this is going to go viral. Like, I know that this has the potential to go viral, which is also why I waited to post it, because I wanted, when it went viral, I knew it would. When it went viral, I wanted to make sure that I could, like, keep up with that, and then, like, post consistently to keep the ball rolling. You know how the algorithm works, you know? So, I posted this reel last week about the Relief Society, and it said, Relief Society, it had like, you know, quotations of someone saying like, oh, Relief Society activities are so boring, and then the music switches and I say can't relate, and it has the women doing the chair dance. Well, as I predicted, it's doing very well. Let's see what it's at this current moment. Let me open Instagram because I do have it downloaded currently. It is at, oh, please hold, 311,000 views, over 9,800 shares, 52 reposts, and 228 comments. So it's doing great. Very excited about that. And then I had another one that I reposted about my ministering brother installing my pole. This was before I left for Australia, and it did really well before. So I was like, might as well repost, am I right? We just did a different caption this time. But right now that one is at 59.2 thousand views and over 1,000 shares. And that one was posted 2 days ago. So getting some build up, which is good. And I tripled my following in, when was this posted? I only posted it 4 days ago. Okay, so in 4 days I've tripled my following, and I'm right now at 902 followers. So everybody, keep your eye on this space because I'm hoping to get to 1,000 by the end of the week, which projections are looking pretty good. If I can triple it in 4 days, you know, if we can keep this ball rolling, that'd be great, because then I've had quite a few people reach out to me, and it's been fun because I've had people reach out to me who want to do this as a career as well, and they're like, oh, I've been interested in this, you know, like, how did you pursue this? And yeah, I've been able to give my insight there. Okay, enough jibber jabbering. Let's talk about what I've been watching, because I've watched a lot of things and I'm really excited to talk about them. Up first, let's talk about what I finished only hours ago. I watched the new series Elle on Amazon Prime, and this is a prequel series to the Legally Blonde movies. Now, Legally Blonde, if you've never seen it, iconic. Spelled in all pink and sparkling. That is an incredible movie, and I cannot wait to rewatch it tomorrow now that I have finished this series. So, you have Elle Woods, who, if anyone is unfamiliar with the Legally Blonde story, she is this preppy valley girl, super blonde, wears like almost exclusively pink, high heels, fashionista, sorority queen, and she is graduating college. See, I should wait until I rewatch the movie. We're just gonna go off memory. So she has done her college, and she has her college boyfriend. And her college boyfriend decides that he's going to go to Harvard Law School. And she's like, oh, great, like, I'm coming with you. And he's a jerk. His name's Warner. And he's like, oh, no, I can't. So he breaks up with her, but she doesn't really know that it's a breakup. She's like, no. If I get into the same, law school that he did, then he'll have to get back together with me. So she makes this whole video, she sends it to Harvard Law, and they admit her into Harvard Law School. And when she shows up, lo and behold, her precious Warner is engaged to another woman. I think her name is Vivian. And she is ice cold. She is mean, and she looks down on Elle in her pink outfits and her tiny little dog named Bruiser. And yeah, she just thinks Elle is stupid and that she is so much better than her, and Warner also thinks that he's better than Elle as well. So what does Elle do? Well, Elle becomes an incredible lawyer because it turns out she's not a dumb blonde. She never was. You judged her prematurely. Sure, she's from LA. Yes, she loves fashion, but that doesn't mean she isn't smart. Okay? She does have street smarts. They're just different streets. Those are the Beverly Hills. She's got hill smarts. Anyways, it's a really cute series, movie, and the series itself was incredible. I absolutely loved it. It was insane how much the actress looked like Reese Witherspoon, like a young Reese Witherspoon, because that's who plays Elle Woods in the originals. She looked like her, she talked like her mannerisms were the same. Like, the lengths this actress went to mimic and make sure that she truly was a younger version of Elle Woods. It was so good. And it was just really cute. Like, it was heartwarming and sweet, and Elle is so endearing. I think they really toe that line so well, where you think that she would be this super annoying LA, snobby girl, but she's actually so kind and well-intentioned and just endearing. I think that's the best word to describe her as. There were some also powerful lines in there that I was like, dang, that's really well said. Like, that was touching. That was inspiring. I was inspired by Elle Woods in this series. And her relationship with her mom was so sweet. I loved her mom being this powerful woman as well, and like the relationship that they had with each other, their openness and talking about things. So the series is about a younger Elle. So she's 16 years old, before she becomes this accomplished, amazing lawyer in Legally Blonde. We're not going to discuss Legally Blonde 2 because that movie was a complete flop and a waste of everyone's time. And just for the sake of the franchise, we're going to forget it exists, okay? Because it was so stupid. But nothing can take away from how good the first one was. So if you only watch the first one, which I recommend doing, just forget that another one exists. It's not worth it. So anyways, you have a young Elle at 16 years old, and her dad's a plastic surgeon. Then they're very, very rich. They live in Beverly Hills, and because her dad, he accidentally botched someone's nose job, because whoops, it didn't set right apparently. They have to leave LA and go to Seattle because he needs to lay low as a plastic surgeon, and he gets a job in Seattle. So they move to Seattle, where everyone wears black and gray and plaid, and you have Elle Woods, this bright blonde who exclusively wears pink and wears frilly outfits, which, by the way, her style in the entire series was immaculate. She wore the cutest freaking outfits. She looked amazing. This entire film, shout out to the costume directors because they were so good at what they did. But anyway, she goes to Seattle, and of course they all are like, you're such a poser, you're a loser. They're so mean to her off the bat. They don't even know her. And you just see her win everyone over in this town, and she learns about herself, and she's able to make friends with people that are so much different than her, and she just has such great integrity and loyalty, and there's a little bit of a mystery that's going on at the same time, and Elle is investigating it and trying to help her friends to kind of solve this local town mystery. I don't want to give too much away, but it's really good. I highly, highly, highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Legally Blonde. It's 8 episodes, an hour each, I think, or like 45 minutes to an hour each episode. So just a quick binge, which I love. I'm going to give that one, honestly, 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 is because there was one actor in particular in the series that I thought was not a great actor, and it's the British guy. I just felt like his acting sucked. Well, and Miles too. So both the love interests. I was like, well, I think we could do better. Everyone else, though, top of their game. Had a very fun time. Okay, next up we have The Maid, or I think it's just Maid on Netflix. Now, this is also a limited series. This was 10 episodes, and it's about this woman who is fleeing her abusive relationship. Oh man, it was fantastic. I felt like it really showed the barriers that there are to getting out of an abusive relationship. So it has her and her daughter, and they've been living in this situation for about 3 years, and he's never hurt her physically, but she feels very threatened, and he ends up throwing this glass bowl at her head, and it shatters everywhere, and it shatters onto her daughter, and that's what triggers her to leave. So it starts off with her leaving in the middle of the night with her daughter, and she goes and she's seeking help, and they say, well, we can put you in a domestic shelter for domestic violence. And she goes, but he didn't hit me. And they're like, and she says, well, I would hate to take up a spot for someone who's actually abused. And then you have the social worker that says to her, oh, well then what is all of this? Him threatening you, yelling at you, making it so you are isolated, all these things. She was like, what would you say that is? Because if that's not abuse, like, what is it? So she ends up going to this shelter, and you just see her journey. She becomes a housemaid, cleaning houses, and her trying to like juggle working, but also she has her daughter, and then she has her mom who has undiagnosed bipolar and is very erratic, and so she tries to like take her daughter to her mom to watch her so she can go and make some money so she can make them a new life, and then that ends up just blowing up in her face. It's you just see all of these barriers that are there for her to get help, and you see her eventually go back into the situation, and it's just devastating because she does all of this stuff to try and succeed and to try and get out, and she just winds right back up there, and it's so understandable how that happens. And there's this one scene when she's back, and her husband, what does he do? He like throws something or punches a wall or something next to her head. Like, he does something again that was like more aggressive than the first time that she left, and she just like crumples to the ground. He leaves, and she is just on the ground, and she's just saying like, I'm so stupid. Like, she thought it would be different, she thought it would change, and just to have that be proven wrong was just so sad. But it does have a really, really great ending, very hopeful, and I feel like it showed the realities quite well to someone who is getting out of an abusive relationship, especially someone who has a child. Like, her child is taken away from her, he calls her the abuser, like, and it does get wrapped up quite nicely in the end, and I feel like that was the only inaccurate part, because a lot of times it doesn't get wrapped up that nicely. It's really, really, really difficult to, separate and to be able to get full custody of your child with an abuser. But I'm just so glad that they have a show like this out there to not only show the realities of these situations or these types of situations to people, and all of these barriers to getting help, that it's just not that easy. You can't just go to a shelter and okay, everything's okay. Like, no, it's more complicated than that. Of course, that's like a first step and that can help, but there's a lot of dynamics at play, you know? So they was just great in showing that, and also showing the hope that comes from getting out, that there is help there, and that you can do it, and that you deserve a better life, and your child deserves a better life than one where you're in fear. So, The Maid, highly recommend if you're down for a very big emotional roller coaster. If not, understandable. But I enjoyed it. Let's go with one more limited series, The Testaments on Hulu. Oh, by the way, that last one was on Netflix, if I didn't say that. So we'll just do a bunch of platforms. We have Elle on Prime, Maid on Netflix, Testaments on Hulu. This one is not prequel. It's a sequel. My gosh. It's like it's 1:30 in the morning or something. Okay, this is a sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, or maybe it's just Handmaid's Tale. I've never seen Handmaid's Tale, but now I really, really want to, because this series is set post Handmaid's Tale, where you're in this society that is like blocked off from the world. I was a little bit confused on if this is an entire country or if this is just a state. That confused me. It gave me the idea that like America itself had been taken over by this religious regime, because from what I understood, like procreation was at an all-time low. Like women weren't able to get their period and be able to have children. And so what ends up happening is this religious regime comes in, and it's these men, and they completely take over. So like women aren't allowed to read or write, or do anything other than be a wife and a mother. And so you follow this journey of this girl, and she's waiting to get her first period, and they have these clothes, like when you're young, you wear the pink clothes to symbolize that you're like a child, and then when you are like at the age in which you can get your period, you're a plum, so you wear this like plum purple color, and then when you get your period, then you get this green pin and you start wearing green, and then you're eligible for marriage, and they match make you with these much, much, much older men, like in their 50s and 60s sometimes, with these, 16, sometimes like younger girls, and then you get to wear blue because you're a wife. So it follows this girl, Agnes. I think her name's Agnes. Let's see. Am I wrong? Yes, Agnes. She is waiting to get her period, and so you see this school that she goes to where she, learns how to embroider and how to be a wife, and just their entire life revolves around the men having all of the power, and like their purity and their virginity being like everything. Oh man, it was creepy and kind of scary in some parts. Like there's this one part where it's in, I think, the first or second episode, where you have all of these guys. So they're all like guards for the women and for the girls and stuff, and then they also have like commanders. So they're at war with, we find out later, like people who are trying to come in and infiltrate to take down this entire situation, because obviously it's horrible. Like they're mass killing women, and they're punishing women, and women have no rights, and it's horrible. But the women who are in it, they don't know that they're in a cult, Well, anyways, there's this one scene where one of the guards that he, I don't know, drives the school bus or something, he was caught masturbating, and they literally cut his hand off. And everyone's like screaming, like, cut it off. It was insane. I was like, what in the... Well, the series, you have this other girl named Daisy, and Daisy is from Canada, and she is like a convert to this regime and this like religion. And so she's there, and she wears white, and she's what's called a pearl girl. So she's learning the ways of how this society works, and there's the potential that she can fully integrate and like become one of the community. So Agnes is assigned to take Daisy around and kind of like show her the ropes and show her how to be. So Daisy freaks out, as I did as a viewer. Like, Daisy kind of represents like the viewer watching this and being like, this is insane. Like, all of this stuff, this violence, but it's all disguised as like godliness. I don't know, it's crazy. Well, anyways, the series goes on, and for those that want spoilers, Daisy, turns out she's actually a secret agent, and she works for this I don't know, company, this, I don't know even how to describe it. Again, I need to watch Handmaid's Tale because I think this is going to give me a lot of context. But there's this group called Mayday, and they're like a rebel group, and they are trying to rescue these women that are in Gilead, is what it's called. So Daisy, her parents were both murdered because they escaped Gilead. And they like took her in. So apparently Daisy was born in Gilead, and they took her out, and then she was like raised by who she knows as her parents, but they're murdered. And so she decides to infiltrate and go in and befriend all of these girls and like become one of them in an attempt to get information for Mayday so that they can hopefully take down all of these terrible men. And starting in like the middle of the series, you start to see the background of these teachers that are just terrible. I mean, just use a lot of violence towards the girls to get them to obey. And you see how they used to live in just like a normal everyday society, and then one day it was just overtaken, and they were just put in this huge stadium and just mass murdered so many women. It was horrible. So you see how they got into this position as, you know, these like women leaders, but really they are doing this as like survival themselves. It's crazy, but so good. If you love a good cult documentary, I mean, it's not a documentary, it's all fictional, but if you enjoy highly religious, like people taking religion and using it as an excuse to like hurt other people, and like the wrongness of that, and you see how it can turn an entire society like inside out, then I would watch this. I really enjoyed myself. I binged it so quick. The actresses were really good, and I would give it a solid 8 out of 10, and I cannot wait for season 2. Elle is also going to have a season 2 as well, which I'm already excited for. The last one I will talk about, and then I really will go to sleep, is Voicemails for Isabel. This is a movie on Netflix. Oh my gosh, in the first 10 minutes had me sobbing, which I love when a movie can make me do that. That's just the sign of a good film, you know? This one was so cute. It's a rom-com-y, but it has sad undertones to it, because the entire plot is you have, what is her name? I hate it on this app. I love everything about Q, the app, Queue, except for the fact that when I scroll to the cast, they don't have, like, the main actors and stuff listed first. Like, what do you mean? Okay, Zoe Deutsch. She's one of my favorite actresses. I love her in The Setup. Is that what it's called? The one with not Miles Teller, the other guy who was really popular that summer. Oh my gosh. The journey we're about to go on in my head to try and figure out who this is. So it's not Miles Teller from Maverick. It's the other guy from Maverick who plays Hangman, who also was in the movie with the Sweeney girl, not Justin Sweeney, because she's, what is her name? She's also in The Housemaid. And she had a very controversial ad that came out about jeans. Sydney. Okay. Sydney Sweeney. And could I look this up? Yes. Am I going to? No, we're too far in. He is named... it's the one where they kiss outside the Sydney Opera House. Anyone But You. Okay, he's the star of Anyone But You. He was also in this other series that I watched called Hitman, or it was a movie called Hitman that was unlike anything I'd ever seen, and was actually quite entertaining. Okay, that guy, whoever he is, him and Zoe Deutsch, they're in The Setup, I think is what it's called, where they set their bosses up, because they're both secretaries to, like, terrible people. And so they set them up so that they can have more free time. That's a great one. That one's on Netflix. Well, Zoe Deutsch, she's in this movie. And the bad guy from Maid is actually the good guy and the main character male in this movie. Did you keep up with all that? Okay, great. So, in this movie, you have Zoe Deutsch. She is the main actress, and I don't remember her name, and it doesn't say on this app. It just says actor. Okay, helpful. Well, her sister dies, and her sister's name is Isabel, and she calls Isabel's phone number and leaves her voicemails, and of course that number was rerouted to the guy's new work phone. So he listens to these voicemails, and he falls in love with the woman on the other end of the line. And he flies to her city and, meets her. And it's just about them and their little love story. And it's so sweet. This story of her missing her sister and kind of dealing with her grief and him being in love with her. I liked it. There was also another one called Love Again with Sam, what's-his-face from Outlander, and Paprika, Nick Jonas's wife. Oh, what is her name? Priyanka? Priyanka. In my head, she's Paprika. So those two were in a movie called Love Again, where she loses her fiance and then texts his old number, and then Sam's character has the new number that was her previous, not ex, because he died, her fiance's old number, and then they fall in love. So we've seen this before. That movie did not do very well, but I actually thought it was quite cute and sweet. But Voicemails for Isabel, I'm gonna say, was slightly better. It made me laugh out loud in so many parts. Very great writing. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. We'll do one more. Tuner. This is a movie about a gifted piano tuner, which also 2 days ago there was a piano tuner that came to my parents' house, because my mom, she's a piano teacher and she has a baby grand piano. And anyways, the piano tuner came, and he came through the door, and I was like, oh, there was a movie made about you guys. He was like, oh yeah, I heard about that. I was like, nah, it wasn't very good. But the plot of the movie is, and this is the actor that's in One Day, the series. If anyone remembers my love of One Day, which is very similar to Normal People, This is for my real, like, TV trivia people or frequent listeners of the pod that are like, oh my gosh, I remember you talking about one day, and then you did your bio episode one day style, where it's the same day every year for 10 years. Yeah. Thank you for remembering. Well, in this movie, Tuner, this guy, his name is his name Nicky? It might be. His name, I think it is Nicky. He has, like, a hearing problem. Like, everything is, like, too loud. It's like he's allergic to sound, but it makes it, he has, like, perfect pitch, and he's able to hear things really well, but that's also what causes him issues, is because he hears, like, every single noise that occurs. So he constantly is wearing, like, earplugs and stuff. Well, turns out his crazy, amazing ability to hear things, he is able to pick locks really well and, like, safes, because he's able to hear when the gears click into place. So unintentionally, he becomes a criminal. It was an accident. He didn't mean to, but he was tuning a piano in a place where there happened to be a robbery going on, and he goes upstairs and he catches them doing the robbery, and then, they were gonna, not, like, kill him, but, man, there was that option. So he just opens the safe for them, thinking, well, that's the last time I'm gonna see them. But then, to help out an older gentleman who is like his dad, he has hospital bills because he had a stroke, and so he decides he's going to go back to these criminals and see if they'll pay him to do another job, and then that turns into a life of crime. And he falls in love with this, amazing piano player woman, and it all comes to a head. It could have been amazing, but I think that they botched the ending, and it just made it annoying that they could have done something so much better with it, but they didn't. He just gets beat up in the end and almost dies by the gang. The girl breaks up with him because she finds out, that he was a criminal, and the guy he was doing all the crime for dies. It was tragic. So he gets beat up, and the guy blows a air horn into his ear and, like, busts his eardrum, and now he can't hear. Well, he kind of can hear, but not really. Like, it, like, permanently damaged his hearing at the end. And that was the end. Like, he doesn't end up with the girl. He doesn't, like, it just, nothing was wrapped up. He doesn't get his life back. Like, he's just, like, beat up with, and, his gift of being able to hear things is gone. Yeah, it was dumb. It was a stupid ending. It was a really great plot for the movie, and they rushed the ending. So don't watch it. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, and it will go on my disappointing movie list, along with Ladies First and The Hill. But I'll talk about those on a different day. So I would like to thank you all for coming and being with me this morning. It is now 1:50 a.m. I think I am tired enough. My legs, they're feeling a little bit better, a little less crampy. Crampy's the wrong word, but that's the best one I've got to describe how they feel. And yeah, we're gonna attempt some sleep. And tomorrow will hopefully be a really great day, full of amazing prospects. I'm gonna reach out to some more sex therapy clinics. I have a meeting set for next week with a big sex therapy clinic chain. They have like 3 different offices around Utah County. I'm just so excited. Cross your fingers that I'm going to be able to work with them, get all of their client referrals. Oh, that'd be incredible. And if you or someone you know would like me to come and speak to your board, or teach a Relief Society chair dancing class, or just a female sexual health class, depends on your ward, please hit me up. Please fill out my form. It's on the link in my bio for the LDS sexologist. Tell your friends, follow, like, share, subscribe, and do the same for this podcast. I love you all so much. Good night. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on life, because this has been Life According to Nikki.